Could you talk about Louis Rees-Zammit and his situation there, please?
Yeah, it was a tough call for Louis to take, obviously. Everybody wants to be selected and are working pretty hard. So look, for us, for this particular match, looking at the opposition, the way we think the game will be played, I think the experience of the other two, work right off the ball, those sorts of things are really going to come into play. And so really a tough call on Louis, but one which we think for this week is the right call.
Just checking how he's feeling about it. Obviously, he's a young kid. He's been thrown to the spotlight. How's he taken, being out of the matchday squad?
Oh, he's no different from any other player. He's disappointed, obviously, and he'll be frustrated. But I think if you look back to the first Six Nations where he didn't get any game, Tommy went away, listened to what the coaches had passed on to him, worked very, very hard, and came in and had a very successful Six Nations following. So, look, we expect him to go and work hard on his game and come back stronger than he is.
Just the last one on him. What have you targeted him with, if you don't mind me asking? What does he have to improve on to get back in that team?
Oh, there's a few things that we've spoken to him about, and also to George Skivington, his Gloucester coach. So he knows what it is, and he'll work very hard.
Okay, let's talk about someone who has returned after a long time off. It's Talupu Faletau. Is someone saying this week he's one of the best eights ever to be in the game? Thoughts on him returning and what he brings to the team? Yeah,
certainly, again, a lot of experience, which is going to be required. He's also had a couple of games under his belt now, 80 minutes last week. He's trained very well during the week. He brings, the good footwork in the contact area, and a very, very knowledgeable player on the game, and he's slotted in very, very quickly. And so we're starting him. We'll see how long he goes for.
You said in the press release it's very exciting to have him back. How excited are you? Because he's such a huge figure to have for Wales.
Yeah, well, he's had 80-odd caps now, not far off 90 caps, British and Irish Lions. So, he brings a wealth of experience, a very well-liked member of the squad, and, lifts the other guys around him, so very pleased.
Josh is back. He's now on the wing. Thoughts about, obviously, him being back and being in his maybe a kind of more experienced position, let's say?
Yeah, certainly. He's chomping at the bit. He's had a week on the sidelines, or a couple of weeks on the sidelines, so getting back for Josh is important. He brings a lot of energy in the training sessions, a lot of energy in a game, good voice, so looking forward to seeing him out there.
Just on that note, because obviously the centre partnerships worked so well for you last week, they start again this week. Was that, in your mind, maybe bringing Josh always back to the wing, or was it because of that performance last week for them?
Yeah, we looked at all the different scenarios, you obviously take into account the opposition that are coming, the game they're going to bring, and what we think's required. So, look, we've gone with the same three that played last week, and they get another opportunity, so we'll see how they go.
Just talk about some of the faces on the replacements bench, Leon, Kieran and Gareth, if you don't mind as well.
Yeah, Leon Brown, you'll recall the last couple of Six Nations matches against England has played and scrummed very well. So look, he's trained well. It was always in our mind to give the tight heads all a go in probably the first half of the competition. And so, he's trained well during the week, and we'll see how he goes as well. Kieran Hardy comes in. You'll recall last Six Nations played very well starting against England. So for him, it's a big test away from home in front of a big crowd. So we'll learn a lot about Kieran as well.
And on Gareth, obviously, he injured his knee against England in one of the warm-up matches in Twickenham. Thoughts on him being on the replacement bench as well?
Yeah, well, look, he's come a long way, and he's trained very, very hard. He's improving every training session, really. So it's about cover as well. He gives us cover from 10 and 15, and that's been a big part of that selection.
Obviously, Wales haven't won a Six Nations match at Twickenham since 2012. Talk to me about the enormity of the task in hand when you travel on Saturday. Yeah,
well, every team loves playing at home, don't they? And it's the first game for England at home, and they'll be enjoying being back there, and they'll have the home support. So we know how much that means to our side playing at the Principality. So it's something we've talked about. We need to transfer the performance that we had in front of our home supporters away at Twickenham, so that's going to be the big challenge in front of us. But certainly, playing in front of a full house, whether it's home or away, it's an exciting prospect.
Eddie Jones just told me that going to Principality is one of his top 3 most hostile places to go. Do you feel the same about Twickenham?
I've only been there coaching Wales the one time, so look, it's a magnificent stadium. It's a massive crowd, isn't it? Over 80,000. So, it just adds to the flavour of the match, and I think history would show that it's a hard place to go and get a result, but we're certainly going there with that aim in mind.
And last one from me. we know what this fixture means to the fans. The players, when I spoke to Dan earlier in the week, he plays it down a little bit as just another fixture. But I want to know what it means to you, because you know about kind of brotherly rivalry being a Kiwi yourself.
Yeah, well, certainly you just got to walk down the street, you know, when we are allowed out, and when this game's on the fixture list, everyone's talking about that's the game they want Wales to win. So we know it means a lot to the public, and we know it means a lot to the players. It's a big match that everyone looks forward to each year, and so it's an exciting time of the competition for us, and one which, you know, roll on Saturday and we'll see how we go.
Cheers, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Nick, over to you.
Afternoon, Wayne. Alex Cuthbert, a 50th cap, seemed unlikely a few years ago when he moved out of Wales. What's he done to turn things round?
Yeah, really chuffed for Alex. He's worked very, very hard, hasn't he? He's come back from some pretty big injuries over the years, and he had excellent form in his last year in England, and you know, he's come back in a now environment, has worked very, very hard. He's you know, he has a massive work rate, and that's certainly helping him at the moment, and you know, 50 caps for anybody in any country is a massive achievement, and so we're very pleased that he's been able to reach that milestone in such a big game.
As for Lewis Summit, Eddie Jones said he didn't think he was fit, and if he was a racehorse, he'd be in the stable. Is there an element of fitness as well as form in the decision to leave him out?
Has Eddie got his spies in our training sessions? Maybe. No, look, he's, you know, he did pick up an ankle injury in the Irish warm-up, and that's probably, you know, hasn't been at 100, but certainly that's factored in. But as I said earlier, you know, we've gone with experience, we've gone with a bit of extra work rate, I think, across the field without the ball as well as with the ball. So, you know, Lewis is disappointed, as I said earlier. He'll go away and work hard at his game, and he'll be back, I'm sure.
You made these two personnel changes. Was there temptation to start with Jonathan Davis, especially given that England are starting with Manu Tuolangi?
Well, look, you know, we looked at all the different combinations and what we thought, you know, would work the best. And I think, you know, at some stage we need to start settling on combinations as well. And the boys went reasonably well last week. There's always things that they want to work on in their game that we want them to work on. And certainly the centre pairing did reasonably well, but they know that they're looking for, this will be another step up, and I thought Jonathan did well when he came on, brought that experience on, so we'll look to do the same this time around.
Talking about steps up, what sort of areas of the game are you looking for Wales to improve their performance on after the Scotland game?
Well, the big challenge for us, I think, is to have that same attitude and the same willingness to throw ourselves about the park that we did last week at home in front of 70-odd thousand, mainly Welsh supporters, to do that on the road in a hostile environment with the mainly English supporters. So that's been the big challenge, and one of the things we've talked about during the week. It's being able to compete with the English forward pack, which are a big pack, making sure that we're disciplined and we don't give them too many inroads in terms of their line out and get the drive going, and obviously they've got a pretty good scrum, so it's a big challenge up front for us, and also we need to back that up with defence across the whole 15.
In terms of the English attacking threat, is Marcus Smith and Harry Randall at half-back, are they going to look to play a bit more quickly than in previous years on top of that power game that you mentioned? Well,
it's certainly what's been talked about, hasn't it? From Eddie wanting to play with speed, but also if you look at history will show that they've started very, very well in a lot of their test matches in recent seasons, and we've probably on the other side of things started a little bit slowly and conceded points. So it's an area that we need to make sure that we start well. We don't let England get into their stride too early, but you know, that's easier said than done. So we've got to make sure that we prepare well in the last 48 hours from here on in. We've had the last physical training session, and now it's more making sure that we're mentally prepared and turn up with the right attitude.
And at least the weather shouldn't be as bad this time round. Maybe if it is dry conditions, how much difference will that make to the tempo of the game?
Well, look, I don't think the tempo will change. I think we think we've prepared for what we think is coming, and we've got to make sure that, you know, we look after the ball. It's the team that makes a few mistakes in these big test matches, and a discipline that usually has a good opportunity to win the match. So, you know, we've got to be clinical in everything we do, and when we do get scoring opportunities, we've got to be pretty ruthless.
Thanks, Wayne. Good luck.
Thank you, Nick.